Cairo Airport, ATIS information Victor, time 1640 Zulu, wind 010 at 14, visibility 6, temperature 31, dew point 10, QNH 1013 remarks, no pattern work, no light aircraft accepted at this time, file flight plan prior to contacting ATC landing runways 5 left and 5 right, departing runway 5 center advise on initial contact, you have information Victor. Cairo Airport, ATIS information.
Egypt Air 001 is 16 nautical miles north of Jebel El Basser at 18,900 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 5 right at Cairo International.
Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, Sierra Tango Sierra Delta November.
Egypt Air 778 Heavy, turn right heading 180, descend and maintain 6,000. Turn right heading 180, descend and maintain 6,000, Egypt Air 778 Heavy. Egypt Air 28 Romeo Sierra, turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 left approach. Emirates 923 Super, turn right heading 020, maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 right approach.
Turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 left, Egypt Air 28 Romeo Sierra.
China Southern 708 Victor Golf, turn right heading 300, descend and maintain 3,000. Turn right heading 020, maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared. Egypt Air 001, continue as filed, expect the ILS approach runway 5 left at Cairo International.
Roger, Egypt Air 001.
Sierra Tango Sierra Delta November, maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final. China Southern 708 Victor Golf, reduce speed to 200 knots.
Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, Sierra Tango Sierra Delta November.
Lufthansa 6 Lima Echo, turn left heading 120.
Reduce speed to 200 knots, China Southern 708 Victor Golf.
Turn left heading 120, Lufthansa 6 Lima Echo.
Sierra Tango Sierra Delta November, contact Cairo Tower on 118.1.
Contacting Cairo Tower on 118.1, Sierra Tango Sierra Delta November.
Egypt Air 28 Romeo Sierra, maintain 160 knots until 4 mile final. Emirates 923 Super, maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final.
Maintain 160 knots until 4 mile final, Egypt Air 28 Romeo Sierra.
Kahira approach, Egypt 639, with you at 19,600.
Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, Emirates 923 Super.
Cairo approach, Egypt Air 647, with you at 20,100.
Cairo approach, Emirates 23 Heavy, with you at 25,700.
Egypt Air 647, radar contact, stay approach request. Emirates 23 Heavy, radar contact, stay approach request. Egypt Air 639, radar contact, stay approach request.
Emirates 23 Heavy, requesting ILS approach any runway at Cairo International.
China Southern 708 Victor Golf, turn right heading 020, maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 right approach.
Egypt 639, requesting ILS approach runway 5 right at Kahira International.
Egypt Air 647, continue as filed, expect the ILS approach runway 5 right at Cairo International.
Contacting Cairo Tower on 118.1, Egypt Air 28 Romeo Sierra.
Delta 005 Victor Alpha, turn left heading 120, descend and maintain 4,000. Lufthansa 6 Lima Echo, turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 left approach.
Turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 left, Lufthansa 6 Lima Echo.
Emirates 923 Super, contact Cairo Tower on 118.1. Contacting Cairo Tower on 118.1, Emirates 923 Super. Southern Air 740 Heavy, turn left heading 100, descend and maintain 5000.
Turn left heading 100, descend and maintain 5000, Southern Air 740 Heavy.
Egypt Air 6625, turn right heading 280, descend and maintain 5000. Turkish 116 Foxtrot, turn right heading 030, descend and maintain 3000, maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, clear Wales runway 5 right approach. Turn right heading 280, descend and maintain 5000, Egypt Air 6625.
Turn right heading 030, descend and maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, clear Wales runway 5 right, Turkish 116 Foxtrot.
Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, China Southern 708 Victor Golf. Lufthansa 007 Heavy is 16 nautical miles northwest of the Salahiyah at 21,900 feet, requesting visual approach any runway at Cairo International.
China Southern 708 Victor Golf, turn right heading 080, descend and maintain 2000 until established on the localizer, clear Wales runway 5 right approach.
Turn right heading 080, descend and maintain 2000 until established on the localizer, clear Wales runway 5 right, China Southern 708 Victor Golf.
Delta 005 Victor Alpha, turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, clear Wales runway 5 left approach. Egypt Air 778 Heavy, turn right heading 230, descend and maintain 4000. Turn right heading 230, descend and maintain 4000, Egypt Air 778 Heavy.
Turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 3000, maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, clear Wales runway 5 left, Delta 005 Victor Alpha.
Lufthansa 007 Heavy, continue as filed, expect the IELTS approach runway 5 left at Cairo International. Egypt Air 778 Heavy, reduce speed to 200 knots. Reduce speed to 200 knots, Egypt Air 778 Heavy. Turkish 116 Foxtrot, maintain 160 knots until 4 mile final.
Maintain 160 knots until 4 mile final, Turkish 116 Foxtrot.
Contacting Cairo Tower on 118.1, China Southern 708 Victor Golf.
Egypt Air 6625, reduce speed to 210 knots. Reduce speed to 210 knots, Egypt Air 6625. Southern Air 740 Heavy, turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 4000 until established on the localizer, clear Wales runway 5 right approach.
Turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 4000 until established on the localizer, clear Wales runway 5 right, Southern Air 740 Heavy.
Emirates 23 Heavy, turn left heading 280, descend and maintain 7000 until established on the localizer, clear Wales runway 5 right approach.
Turn left heading 280, descend and maintain 7000 until established on the local.
Egypt Air 001, turn right heading 140, descend and maintain 4000. Egypt Air 778 Heavy.
Turn right heading 140, descend and maintain 4000, Egypt Air 001.
Egypt Air 778 Heavy, maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final. Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, Egypt Air 778 Heavy. Egypt Air 6625, turn right heading 320. Turn right heading 320, Egypt Air 6625.
Cairo approach, Echo Tango Alpha Zulu India, with you is 9100.
Echo Tango Alpha Zulu India, radar contact. Southern Air 740 Heavy, maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final.
Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, Southern Air 740 Heavy. Cairo approach. Cebu 384 Papa Romeo. Review at 20,300.
Egypt Air 778 Heavy, contact Cairo Tower on 118.1. Southern Air 740 Heavy, contact Cairo Tower on 118.1. Contacting Cairo Tower on 118.1, Egypt Air 778 Heavy.
Thank you. Good day. Southern Air 740 Heavy.
Cebu 384 Papa Romeo, radar contact, say approach request. Egypt Air 6625, turn right heading 010, descend and maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 right approach.
Cebu 384 Papa Romeo is 37 nautical miles southwest of El Shaki at 19,200 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 5 right at Cairo International.
Turn right heading 010, descend and maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 right, Egypt Air 6625. Cairo approach, Egypt Air 748, with you at 21,900. Cebu 384 Papa Romeo, continuous files, expect the ILS approach runway 5 right at Cairo International. Lufthansa 007 Heavy, turn right heading 220, descend and maintain 5000.
Roger. Cebu 384 Papa Romeo.
Egypt Air 748, radar contact, say approach request. Egypt Air 748 is 17 nautical miles northwest of Al Mansoura at 21,300 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 5 left at Cairo International. Egypt Air 001, reduce speed to 200 knots. Roger, Fiji.
Reduce speed to 200 knots, Egypt Air 001.
Emirates 23 Heavy, please expedite altitude change. Egypt Air 001, reduce speed to 180 knots.
Reduce speed to 180 knots, Egypt Air 001.
Emirates 23 Heavy, turn right heading 300, descend and maintain 3000.
Turn right heading 300, descend and maintain 3000, Emirates 23 Heavy.
Egypt Air 6625, contact Cairo Tower on 118.1. Contacting Cairo Tower on 118.1, Egypt Air 6625. Egypt Air 001, turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 left approach.
Turn left heading 080, descend and maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 5 left, Egypt Air 001.
Fiji 0127 Super, frequency change approved, good day.
Cairo approach. 5 Bravo Charlie Yankee November, review at 28,500.
November 31945, Egypt Air 001, maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final. Descend and
Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, Egypt Air 001.
Emirates 23 Heavy, thank you. Egypt Air 647, maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final.
Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final, Egypt Air 647.
Roger. 5 Bravo Charlie Yankee November.
Austrian 859, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 5 left at Cairo International. Lufthansa 007, Egypt Air 001, contact Cairo Tower on 118.1.
Roger, Austrian 859.
Egypt Air 1402 Super, hold short of runway 5.
Cairo Tower, Egypt Air 001, inbound on the ILS runway 5 left with information Victor.
Holding short runway 5 center, Egypt Air 1402 Super.
Egypt Air 001, wind 040 at 18, number 2, runway 5.
Number 2, cleared to land, runway 5 left, Egypt Air 001. Cairo Tower, Sky Dubai 1207 Echo, ready for departure in sequence at runway 5 center, departing south.
Sky Dubai 1207 Echo, hold short of runway 5 center.
Holding short runway 5 center, Sky Dubai 1207 Echo.
Southern Air 740 Heavy. When able turn left and contact ground.
2500.
Please expedite. Traffic on final. Wilco. Southern Air 740 Heavy. Mike Foxtrot 1091. Thank you. Good day. Mike Foxtrot 1091. Frequency change approved. Good day. Egypt Air 778 Heavy. When able turn right. Contact ground on the taxiway.
Wilco, Egypt Air 778 Heavy.
Egypt Air 647, wind 040 at 18, number 2, runway 5 right, cleared to land.
Number 2, cleared to land, runway 5 right, Egypt Air 647.
Frequency change approved Mike Foxtrot 1091, good day.
5 November Alpha November Delta, wind 040 at 18, runway 5 center, cleared for takeoff. China Eastern 224, line up and wait runway 5 center. Line up and wait runway 5 center, China Eastern 224.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 5 center, 5 November Alpha November Delta.
$1,000. $500. $500. $300.
China Eastern 224, wind 040 at 18, runway 5 center, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 5 center, China Eastern 224.
Cairo Tower, Delta Tango Hotel Alpha November, ready for departure at runway 5 center, departing straight out.
Egypt Air 6625,
50,
when able turn left and contact
40,
ground. Please
30,
expedite. Traffic on
20.
final.
Retard.
Wilco, Egypt Air
Retard.
6625.
Sky Dubai 1207 Echo, line up and wait runway 5 center.
Line up and wait runway 5 center, Sky Dubai 1207 Echo.
Cairo Tower, Emirates 23 Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 5 right with information Victor. Emirates 23 Heavy, wind 040 at 18, number 2, runway 5 right, cleared to land. Egypt Air 001, when able turn right, contact ground on the taxiway. Number 2, cleared to land.
Wilco, Egypt Air 001.
Cairo Tower, Egypt Air 1402 Super, ready for departure in sequence at runway 5 center, remaining in the pattern.
Egypt Air 1402 Super, hold short of runway 5 center. Delta Tango Hotel Alpha November, your number 3 for departure.
Holding short runway 5 center, Egypt Air 1402 Super. Roger, Delta Tango Hotel Alpha November.
Sky Dubai 1207 Echo, wind 040 at 18, runway 5 center, cleared for takeoff. China Eastern 224, thank you. China Eastern 2...
Cairo ground, Egypt Air 001, request taxi to parking.
ICE 922, taxi to runway 5 center, contact tower when ready.
Taxiing to runway 5 center,
Egypt Air 001, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Taxi to parking, Egypt Air 001.
Cairo ground, Ethiopian 002 Victor Alpha, ready for pushback with information Victor. Cairo ground, Egypt Air 799 Heavy, ready to taxi with information Victor. Ethiopian 002 Victor Alpha, pushback approved, tail to the west. Pushback approved, tail to the west, Ethiopian 002 Victor Alpha, Egypt Air 799 Heavy, taxi to runway 5 center, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 5 center, Egypt Air 799 Heavy.
Cairo ground, Egypt Air 647, request taxi to parking.
Cairo ground, Ethiopian 139 Victor Alpha Heavy, ready for pushback with information Victor. Egypt Air 6625, request permission to cross runway 5 center.
Egypt Air 647, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Taxi to parking, Egypt Air 647.
Egypt Air 6625, hold short of runway 5 center.
Kahira ground, Emirates 420 Victor Golf, ready for pushback with information Victor.
Hold short of runway 5 center, Egypt Air 6625.
Attention, Cairo ground, Italy 30, ready to taxi with information Victor. Emirates 420 Victor Golf, hold position.
Holding position, Emirates 420 Victor Golf.
Ethiopian 139 Victor Alpha Heavy, hold position.
Cairo international traffic, Egypt Air 6625, holding short runway 5 center. Cairo international traffic, Delta Tango Hotel Alpha November is taking off runway 5 center, departing straight out.
Cairo ground, United 890 Heavy, ready for pushback with information Victor, requesting runway 5 center.
Cairo ground, Ethiopian 416 Heavy, ready for pushback with information Victor.
Egypt Air 6625, request permission to cross runway 5 center.
Cairo ground, Egypt Air 647, request taxi to E06 at the Terminal 2. Cairo ground, Ethiopian 238 Heavy, ready for pushback with information Victor.
Cairo ground, Ethiopian 989 Victor Alpha, ready to taxi with information Victor.
Cairo ground, Ethiopian 002 Victor Alpha, ready to taxi with information Victor.
Ethiopian 989 Victor Alpha, runway 5 center, taxi via Echo, Sierra, Tango, contact tower when ready.
Cairo ground, Ethiopian 139 Victor Alpha Heavy, ready for pushback with information Victor. Taxiing to runway 5 center via Echo, Sierra, Tango, Ethiopian 989 Victor Alpha.
Kahira ground, Emirates 420 Victor Golf, ready to taxi with information Victor.
Egypt Air 647, request permission to cross runway 5 center.
Cairo ground, Oman Air 408, ready for pushback with information Victor.
Egypt Air 6625, cross runway 5 center, please expedite. Egypt Air 647, cross runway 5 center, please expedite. Crossing runway 5 center, Egypt Air 647.
Crossing runway 5 center, Egypt Air 6625.
Ethiopian 002 Victor Alpha, taxi to runway 5 center, contact tower when ready. Ethiopian 416 Heavy, hold position. Ethiopian 139 Victor Alpha Heavy, hold position.
Taxiing to runway 5 center, Ethiopian 002 Victor Alpha.
Holding position, Ethiopian 416 Heavy. Ethiopian 238 Heavy, hold position. Emirates 420 Victor Golf, taxi to runway 5 center, contact tower when ready.
Holding position, Ethiopian 139 Victor Alpha Heavy.
Oman Air 408, pushback approved, tail to the north. United 890 Heavy, hold position.
Pushback approved, tail to the north. Oman Air 408.
Holding position, Ethiopian 238 Heavy.
Taxiing to runway 5 center, Emirates 420 Victor Golf.
Holding position, United 890 Heavy.
I'm sorry, Emirates 420 Victor Golf.
Cairo ground, Lufthansa 007 Heavy, request taxi to parking.
Emirates 420 Victor Golf. Correction, stand by.
Cairo ground, Emirates 23 Heavy, request taxi to 37 at the Terminal 1 Hall 2.
Emirates 420 Victor Golf, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Taxi to parking, Emirates 420 Victor Golf.
Emirates 23 Heavy, taxi to Terminal 1, Hall 237, hold short of 5 sender 23 sender.
Kahira ground, Emirates 420 Victor Golf, ready to taxi with information Victor.
Egypt Air 647, taxi to Terminal 206 via Tango, Juliet, Sierra, Whiskey 2, Whiskey 3.
Taxiing to Terminal 206 via Tango, Juliet, Sierra, Whiskey 2, Whiskey 3, Egypt Air 647.
Taxiing to Terminal 1 Hall 237, will hold short of 5 center 23 center, Emirates 23 Heavy.
Emirates 420 Victor Golf, taxi to runway 5 center, contact tower when ready.
Taxiing to runway 5 center, Emirates 420 Victor Golf.
Cairo ground, taxi to parking, at your discretion. Emirates 420 Victor Golf, taxi to waypoint via.
Taxiing to waypoint via, Emirates 420 Victor Golf.
I'm sorry, Egypt Air 647.
Emirates 420 Victor Golf, continue taxi.
Kahira ground, Egypt 639, request taxi to G2 at the Terminal 3. Continue taxi, Emirates 420 Victor Golf.
Ethiopian 238 Heavy, pushback approved, tail to the north.
Pushback approved, tail to the north, Ethiopian 238 Heavy.
Egypt Air 639, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Taxi to parking, Egypt 639.
Cairo ground, Oman Air 408, ready to taxi with information Victor.
Oman Air 408, taxi to runway 5 center, contact tower when ready.
Taxiing to runway 5 center, Oman Air 408.
Cairo ground, Ethiopian 139 Victor Alpha Heavy, ready for pushback with information Victor. Cairo ground, Ethiopian 416 Heavy, ready for pushback with information Victor.
Emirates 23 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 5 center.
Ethiopian 416 Heavy, pushback approved, tail to the north.
Pushback approved, tail to the north, Ethiopian 416 Heavy.
Emirates 23 Heavy, hold short of runway 5 center.
Hold short of runway 5 center, Emirates 23 Heavy.
Cairo ground, Ethiopian 238 Heavy, ready to taxi with information Victor.
Ethiopian 238 Heavy, taxi to runway 5 center, contact tower when ready.
Taxiing to runway 5 center, Ethiopian 238 Heavy.
Cairo ground, United 890 Heavy, ready for pushback with information Victor, requesting runway 5 center.
Egypt 639, request permission to cross runway 5 center.
Emirates 23 Heavy, cross runway 5 center, please expedite. Egypt Air 639, cross runway 5 center, please expedite.
Crossing runway 5 center, Emirates 23 Heavy.
Crossing runway 5 center, Egypt 639.
United 890 Heavy, pushback approved, tail to the north.
Cairo ground, Egypt Air 748, request taxi to parking.
Pushback approved, tail to the north, United 890 Heavy.
Egypt Air 748, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Taxi to parking, Egypt Air 748.
Thank you, Egypt 639.
Cairo ground, Ethiopian 416.
Thank you, good day, Egypt Air 001.
Ethiopian 416 Heavy, taxi to runway 5 center,